Okay, we're back with another quadratic formula that needs solving. We want to figure out what x is. And you remember you always have a bunch of options for this. You could try factoring, you could try some other techniques, but I'm going to go after the quadratic formula in this solution. I know it always works. It's not always necessary, but it always works. And what I need to do at the start is make sure I have 0 on one side. So what I'm going to do is say minus 29x, because I want that side to be equal to 0. And if you're wondering, yes, you could also add 8 and subtract 12x squared from each side to get the left side equal to 0. That would work fine. But I'm just going to go after this side. I actually have a preference for making sure my x squared term is positive. It's not necessary, but I kind of like it that way. So this is going to rearrange to the following. 12x squared minus 29x and then minus 8 equals 0. This is a good place to pause and make sure you understand why those numbers are what they are. This is an important part. Next, I figure out my A, B, and C. So this right here is A. That's going to be 12. And my B, let's just put that in blue. That's this term right here, or I should be a little more specific. It is the coefficient in front of the x. Okay, that's my B term, which is going to be negative 29. And my C term is always the constant at the end that has no variable. Okay, so if these numbers are out of order, you see you could get a little mixed up as to what A, B, and C are. You have to make sure it's in standard form. And now I'm going to use my formula, which we've all memorized. It's x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. And we're going to plug these things into that big equation below according to this formula. I'll start with c. That's negative 8. And then when we move to b, see that's my negative 29. A couple places that appears. There's one, and here's one. And then the last number in here that I have to worry about is a, which is 12 in this case. So kind of some big numbers going on. Now we move on to the simplification step. And I know two of these things very simply, right? Negative 29 just makes positive 29. Okay, that's very quick. And on the bottom, 2 times 12, well, that's not too bad. That's just 24. Okay, so now we move on to the discriminant part, the part under the square root. And for this, I always recommend just pulling out a calculator and typing this into the calculator extremely carefully. Every parentheses needs to be shown as it's written. Okay, and you need to watch out for negative sign errors and all sorts of silly business. So this one turns out to be, oh my, that's rather large, 1225. Okay, so that's big. And I'm going to need to work on the square root portion of this first. So go ahead and plug into your calculator, what is the square root of 1225? Now, if you have a lucky problem, this will work out just fine, and mine did. This is 35. Okay, 35 squared makes 1225. So I get 29 plus or minus 35 all over 24. Still looks a little busy, so let's break this up according to that plus or minus. I'm going to deal with the plus first. Doesn't matter what order you go in, you just need to get both. So one of my possibilities is 29 plus 35 over 24. And the other possibility is 29 minus 35 over 24. So we reduce each of these separately. We now have two smaller answers from the original. So 29 plus 35, that's 64 over 24. And 29 minus 35, I can do that one. That's negative 6 over 24. Well, we're not done. We can still simplify more. So let's turn this into negative 1 over 4. That one simplifies easily, and that's an answer. That's the end of the road. Now this one on the top, I'm going to try to simplify this in steps. I am not great at simplifying fractions, but I do know how to divide by 2. I'm very good at that. And I can just keep on dividing by 2 until I have this thing all the way worked down. So I just divided by 2 twice, and let's divide by 2 again. All right, I think this one's going to bottom out at 8/3. That's as far as I can go with that. All right, so I have 8/3 and negative 1/4, and those would be my answer. I'm just going to plug those right in here into my answer box and say I've got negative 1/4 and positive 8/3.